Hello and welcome everyone on this tutorial on force and friction. When we talk about force, the first question which arises is what is force? And the main basic question what a student asks is why should we need it? Why should we study it? What is the purpose of having this force? Basically, when someone pushes you in field while you are playing, when your car broke down and you have to push it, when you try to press an inflated balloon, when you stretch a rubber band, when you close a door, when you open a door, when you kick a ball, when you throw a ball, when you try to grab and hold a moving ball, basically when you are the goalkeeper of your team for any ball game. Everywhere force is applied. Everywhere. When you pick any ball or bottle or book from the ground, oops, sir, we are picking it up. We are not pushing it. We are not pulling it. But bacha, you are actually pulling it against gravity. So yes, force is applied. When you have a flat tire situation and you push your cycle. When you are digging a hole in anything, it may be ground or in cardboard or anywhere. And last but not least, while playing tug of war. Force is applied in every action we do. Thus, we see that to move an object or to stop the motion of an object, it has to be either push or pull. Hence, we call the definition of the force is a push or a pull on an object is called force, or a push or a pull that changes or tends to change the state of rest of or uniform motion of an object or change its direction or shape. Suppose a ball was stationary, it was not moving, it was just capped in the ball ground. When you kick it, it gains some motion. Initially it was at rest. Initially it was in the state of rest. Now it has uniform, non-uniform motion. That is another thing, but it has a motion when you kick it. Because of the force which was applied by you on the ball gained a motion. And this motion is in a direction. And if you look at through very slow moving cameras, we can easily find that when you are kicking the ball, you are actually changing the shape of a ball also. So everywhere force is required. When you look around yourself or your surrounding, you will see a number of things which work with a push or pull. These all objects or these all things which are happening because of either push or pull are basically happening because of force. After studying two questions, what is force and why should we study? Now the next question which arises is how does the force affect the body? How your daily workings or daily things are getting affected by the force? Basically, force causes all types of motion. If you are concerned about any motion, it is happening because of any or some sort of force which is acting on it. Force can make an object to move from rest, like kicking a stationary ball. Or think of a cricket game. When the bowler is holding the ball is stationary. The moment he throws the ball gains a motion. It can stop a moving object like a catch in the cricket game. It can change the direction of a motion like uh, ball when it is getting hitted by a bat. when the batsman strike the ball, or when any soccer player strike the ball. Basically, he is changing the direction. It can change the shape of an object, like making chapati. When your mother is rolling down the chapatis, what is happening? She is changing the shape. I continuously said that force cause motion, but it is not necessary that force can always bring a stationary object in motion. It is dependent upon the force, the amount of force which is applied. Look in this picture. In this picture, a boy is trying to push a wall. Or if I say you to push the wall, would it be possible for you to push the wall? Even it's not possible for me, or not possible for any Khali or any Superman. Reason: the weight of the wall is very large, and because of being that much huge weight, when you are trying to push it, you have to make sure that you are applying enough force to move it. But the problem is, the force which is applied by you or me or anyone is not up to that mark which can create motion in that wall. But in same manner, if I ask a bulldozer, a machine, to do this work, it can be easily done by the machine or the bulldozer. The reason is, when the bulldozer is applying force on the wall, basically it is applying so much force which can move the wall or break the wall. Next is cause of a force. Basically, for anything to have force or to apply force, to gain force or to apply force, there has to be two objects or two bodies. Whenever a force is applied, there is interaction between two bodies. Look at these two gears. If red gear is not there, green will not move by itself. Red is needed for green to be moved. For example, when you are applying force on the pedals of your cycle, the chain is acting as an interaction between your wheel and the pedal. If I remove the chain, the wheel will not work. So that chain is providing the interaction between the two bodies. In other words, we can say that an interaction between at least two bodies is necessary. At least two bodies. There has to be a minimum of two bodies for an interaction. For example, when you want to kick a ball, there has to be a ball. If there is no ball on which you are kicking, then why are you kicking? You are wasting your energy. And when you are kicking a ball, you are applying force on it. So there is an interaction between your feet and the ball. So there are two objects, you and the ball. The next topic here is magnitude of force or net force, or I should say total force. Look at the two guys who are trying to move sofa from one place to another. Both are applying some sort of force. Okay, here I missed one thing, that the SI unit of force is Newton. Now, it is represented as capital N. Now these two boys are taking sofa in a direction. So both are moving in same direction. So if two forces act on a body in same direction, the net force is the sum of two forces. So both were, one was applying 25 Newton, another was applying 20 Newton. So the grand total is 45 Newton. But in another situation, when two soccer players are applying force in opposite direction, one is applying 125 Newton and another is applying 75 Newton. So the resultant will be the difference in their forces. So the definition wise, we can say, if two forces act on a body in opposite direction, the net force is the difference between the two forces. The resultant force will be the difference, because the resultant force is the difference because there are two forces which are acting in opposite direction. the one which will be having the greater force will be able to move. For example, uh, take example of a wall. If you are trying to move the wall, and from another side, if a bulldozer is trying to move the wall, you know the answer. The bulldozer or the machine will be able to move the wall because it will be applying more energy or more force. Hence, the force in opposite direction, to calculate the net force or the magnitude force or the total force or the resultant force, we have to subtract it. So the word for subtract is difference. And when in same direction, it is simply addition, or the word is sum. Forces can be in two types, or I can say forces can be divided into two types. One is contact force, another is non-contact force. Force which can be applied only when it is in contact with the object. Contact force. Suppose your mom slapping you for any nuisance you did. For that thing to happen, she has to at least touch your cheek. Touch. When there is a touch, there is a contact, then that force is known as contact force. Can it be possible for you to kick a ball standing 1 meter apart from it? No, because to kick a ball, you need to create a contact. You need to touch the ball. That is contact force. Non-contact force, in which we don't need to touch. For example, if you want to pull iron sheet, we just need to use a magnet. And magnet doesn't mean I have to touch the magnet. With a small gap it can be done. Or if I place a wooden block in between the magnet and then I try to pick up a nail, it is possible. There is no direct contact between the magnet and the nail, iron nail, but it will work because it is a non-contact force. When we are talking about contact forces, in your syllabus you have only two types of contact forces, that is muscular force and friction force. But when we deal about contact forces, there can be many which you are going to study in your future classes. Applied force, an example of muscular force. Frictional force you already know, and which we are going to study further in this coming chapter. Drag force is something which is applied by air, or it has something in relation to with the pressure. So when we will deal with the pressure chapter, we will explain this thing. Spring force, yes, when you push a spring, it gains some potential energy, and when you release it, whatever object which was kept above the spring, it will move up. So hence a force is applied by the spring, but that too is only because of a touch. Normal force, whenever when an object is just kept on any surface, it exerts a normal force. Your mass is because of this normal force, which we are going to study further. Right now only these things are necessary. But when we are talking about magnetic force, you already know what is a magnet and how does it work. It has two poles, north pole and south pole. When we are talking about electric force is because of a positive and a negative terminal, or positive charge and a negative charge. You all are aware about when we just keep one positive wire and a negative wire close to each other, it will create a spark. That spark can happen without touching also. When we are just taking them very near to each other, it can happen then also. It is something known as electric flux, which right now is not in your syllabus, but yes, electric force is also a type of non-contact force. And gravitational force, the more harder you can jump, you can try, but you are not going to escape this gravitation. So gravitational force is the most powerful force, and yes, it is also a non-contact force. Earth doesn't need a hand to hold you up. No matter from how much height you fall, you will fall on the earth. So it is because of gravitational force.